The events unfold in the city of Moscow. During class, Julia Lebedeva and her friend gossip about boys, not paying attention to the teacher who was talking about a unique astronomical phenomenon. Soon one of the most beautiful meteor showers in history is about to happen, but the students are not interested. Svetlana gave Julia 2 tickets to a concert by a famous musician so that she could go there with her new boyfriend. After school, Artem met her in his car. Svetlana envies her classmate for having such a cool boyfriend. Julia went home for a minute to grab some things, but her strict father, who is a colonel, forbade her from going anywhere. According to him, it may be dangerous to go out today. However, the daughter was going to leave the house anyway, in spite of his prohibition. Meanwhile, an alien spaceship is approaching Earth and has entered the atmosphere. It was detected on radars at the National Defense Control Center. Lebedev ordered the aviation to intercept the object. Military fighter jets took off into the sky. At that time, thousands of people were watching the meteor shower in the city center. Drunk young people caused trouble, so Artem decided to deal with the hooligans himself. Julia met her friend, who had keys to the apartment with her. None of the people suspected that the military was dealing with an extraterrestrial object. Everyone was shocked to realize that it was not of natural origin. The young people watched the meteor shower from the roof. Artem suggested to his beloved privacy together. Svetlana gave the sweet couple the key to her apartment, and she stayed on the roof. While Artem and Julia were getting ready to indulge in passion, military fighter jets appeared in the sky and launched a missile at the alien ship. The object was damaged. Aircraft in its vicinity lost control, and pilots had to eject. All the technology began to malfunction, which made people worried. The giant alien ship appeared in the sky. Panic began, but Artem and Julia were too engrossed to notice. The object was coming straight at Svetlana. She did not have time to escape because the ship crashed into the building, destroying it. Julia almost fell from a great height, but Artem managed to grab her hand in time. People ran in panic, and buildings around them crumbled from the collision with the object. Artem continued to hold Julia's hand while the alien spaceship swept away everything in its path. Finally, it stopped. Lebedev tried to call his daughter, but she didn't answer. The military quickly moved to the site of the object's crash. All the news reports say that an unknown space object crashed onto Earth. State Duma Deputy Mikhail Poleskin gave a brief interview. He also went to the site of the incident as a parliamentarian together with the military. Panicking Artem carried wounded Julia in his arms. Fortunately, they came across an ambulance on the way. Communication was interrupted near the object's crash site. The ship was surrounded by the military. The weapons were on full alert. Combat helicopters were also monitoring the object. Mikhail, accompanied by Colonel Lebedev, approached the object. They were greeted by an alien in a strange spacesuit. Mikhail was very flustered and frightened, but he still spoke to the visitor, declaring that humans were ready to establish contact with the extraterrestrial civilization. Suddenly, Mikhail began to feel unwell. The alien was looking at him intently through the impenetrable helmet. Snipers were preparing to fire, but Lebedev ordered them not to open fire. Later at the Security Council, he revealed that the alien communicated with him telepathically. The visitors demanded that humans not approach their ship. All they want is to repair their ship and leave the planet. Lebedev does not believe that the aliens pose a threat. All the world's news reports say that an alien ship has crashed onto Moscow. Julia woke up in the hospital. She was examined by a doctor. Julia saw on TV that protective structures were built around the alien object and traffic was suspended. Upon seeing the friend's belongings on the bedside table, Julia sensed something was wrong. Artem had been waiting in the hallway the whole time. From his gaze, Julia understood that Svetlana was no longer alive. Julia couldn't believe that this was really happening. Colonel Lebedev arrived at the hospital to take his daughter, who had previously disobeyed him and ran away from home to Artem. Lebedev took his daughter with him. She asked the father if there would be a war. The colonel had no answer to that question. Julia noticed that there were now graffiti on the city walls with threats from people who were unhappy about the presence of visitors on Earth. The girl realized that the worst nightmare was yet to come. Lebedev told his daughter that a curfew had been imposed in the city. He didn't have time to control Julia right now, so he asked her for once in her life to obey him. Lebedev brought the daughter home, asking his mother-in-law to look after her. Now children are taken to school exclusively in armored vehicles. Julia, like her classmates, is still in shock. A commemorative plaque was installed at school in memory of those who died yesterday. The teacher said that this day would change history. However, the children are aggressive, believing that aliens have no place on Earth. They are unwelcome guests here. At home, Julia stole her father's gun from the safe. Meanwhile, in the garage, the guys were watching a video on the internet in which an alien was walking freely around the city. Many don't like the fact that the visitors behave like masters on Earth. Showing the guys her father's gun, Julia suggested that they deal with the aliens and drive them off the planet. In the evening, the company decided to put their revenge plan into action. The guys knew loopholes that the military had no idea about. Passing through abandoned buildings, the company hid so that the patrol wouldn't notice them. Artem told his beloved to wait in the car as it could be dangerous. However, Julia didn't intend to be idle and secretly sneaked into the semi-destroyed building where Svetlana's apartment used to be. The girl feels guilty about the friend because she left her alone that day. Julia didn't notice the alien who crept up on her. In panic, Julia started shooting, but the alien grabbed her. His helmet became semi-transparent and the shocked girl saw a human face. Upon hearing screams, the guys rushed to help their friend. Artem attacked the alien, throwing it off the building. The alien fell down. When the guys came down, they found an empty alien suit. Julia saw the wounded alien on the side but didn't tell the guys. They stole the exosuit and transported it to their garage. All night long, Julia couldn't sleep, thinking about the mysterious man from another planet. Taking the father's car, Julia returned to the same building and found the wounded alien. The girl couldn't leave visitor here and carried him to the car to take away. The next day at school, she turned to a classmate for help who plans to enroll in medical college. Seeing the alien, the guy was shaken. Teenagers must act secretly, otherwise the visitor will be taken by the military. The guy said that the alien needs a blood transfusion. Since the anatomy of aliens is identical, their blood composition probably does not differ from human blood. Julia immediately called the father's friend, who could get them into the hospital without a pass. Using the internet, the teenagers proceeded with the medical procedure. Julia was the donor. When Julia approached the alien, he grabbed her hand and handed her his strange bracelet. The teenagers transported the unconscious alien to the garage. When Julia was taking a shower, she noticed that the bracelet was interacting with water. Meanwhile, in a scientific research institute, scientists were studying alien technology. Lebedev noticed that the water in the cooler started splashing by itself. Scientists have established that aliens need water for regeneration, including their ship. Their damaged ship had already self-repaired by 30%. Lebedev suggests returning the aliens their technology in order to avoid conflict, but no one shares the colonel's enthusiasm. Soon the alien woke up. When he sat up, frightened Julia pointed the gun at him. The alien spoke in the Earth language, telling the girl not to be afraid of him. He also introduced himself. His name was Haikon. After changing into human clothing, the alien intended to return to the ship, but he was almost immediately stopped by patrols, who asked him to present his documents. Thinking that the man was in an inadequate state, the police arrested him. The teenagers witnessed this. Meanwhile, the guys were trying to understand how the alien spacesuit worked. It turned out that the exosuit had no weight inside, making it the perfect armor. Artem suggested handing over the alien technology to the military and called Julia's father. Riots began in the city center. People were outraged that the aliens were taking too much water. Soon this escalated into a massive fight, in which Artem was injured. The police arrested him. Soon the colonel arrived. The guy changed his mind about telling him about the spacesuit. Lebedev ordered Artem not to approach Julia anymore. At that time, Haikon was brought to the police station. The officer was shocked to realize that the man had no fingerprints. Artem was in the same police station. Julia, who came for Haikon, was allowed into the police station thanks to her family connections. She didn't expect to see Artem here. The guy was behaving aggressively, saying that they would soon establish their order on Earth. Julia was able to get Haikon out. He told her that his home was 47 light-years away from Earth. To create a space-time tunnel, they needed a technology called Shilk, which was taken by the military. Julia decided to help Haikon, hoping that after this, the aliens would leave Earth forever. First, Julia brought Haikon to her father, lying that she was pregnant. She did this to steal a pass from him unnoticed. Having done what she had planned, Julia confessed to her father that she was joking. Meanwhile, Haikon had used a pass, disguised as Lebedev, to enter the laboratory to retrieve the Shilk. While Lebedev was reprimanding his daughter, Haikon stole Shilk. Realizing that the man in the biological protective suit was not Colonel Lebedev, the scientists raised the alarm. No one suspected it was Haikon. Lebedev sent his daughter and her new friend home. Artem was released from arrest. The guys decided that they would keep the alien exosuit for themselves in order to protect their homeland. They began preparing to storm the alien spaceship. Artem called Julia, asking for forgiveness. However, the girl spoke to him quite coldly and refused to meet. Haikon tells his earthly friend that he needs to get the Shilk onto the ship as soon as possible. Julia says they won't be able to break into the guarded perimeter until nightfall. That's why she brought the alien to her home, telling him about human life on Earth. Julia realized that these aliens were quite emotionless creatures. Her grandmother even considered the guest ignorant. When Haikon healed Julia's sick dog with the help of the Shilk, she was shocked. Mikhail Poleskin gave an interview from the hospital, saying that the aliens were very dangerous. At this time, Julia continued to introduce Haikon to Earth's culture. Seeing Haikon's photo in the news, Julia became alarmed. Learning that Haikon was an alien, the colonel hurried home, but it was too late. The daughter and her extraterrestrial friend had already run away. The public movement against aliens is gaining more and more supporters. It is headed by Artem. Julia's classmate gave Haikon new clothes. Remembering the concert tickets the friend had given her, Julia came up with where she and Haikon could hide. Despite martial law, the concert was not canceled. No one would look for the alien here for sure. Noticing Julia with another guy, Artem's friend immediately told him. At that moment, Haikon, taking Julia by the hand, showed her his beautiful home, which was very far away. Haikon also said that their landing on Earth was unplanned. The fact was that they got caught in a meteor shower, which disabled their camouflage. If people infiltrate the ship, it will self-destruct so that the technology does not fall into human hands. Julia realized that she didn't want to let go of Haikon, but she still brought him to the ship. They were going to say goodbye forever. Not holding back, Julia kissed the alien. Watching Haikon leave, Julia couldn't hold back her tears. At that moment, Artem called her and suggested meeting, but the girl said that it was over between them. Artem understood that his girlfriend loved someone else. Julia was speechless when she saw the guys surrounding Haikon and beating him up. Julia tried to stop them, but they were stronger. One of the guys found the shulk in the backpack. That's when they realized that Haikon wasn't actually human. When Julia shouted that aliens are much better than humans, Artem slapped her in a fit of rage. Seeing this, Haikon used his alien superpowers to scatter the hooligans. When one of the guys was about to shoot Haikon, Julia pushed him. The shot hit one of the bullies. The military arrived. The guys ran away, and Julia and Haikon were captured. Artem and his friends hid, preparing a plan for revenge. They intended to gather as many people as possible to show the aliens who was in charge on this planet. Through social media, thousands of people learned that the aliens were supposedly responsible for the death of a human. Crowds took to the streets to drive the uninvited guests from the planet. Artem addressed the gathering with a speech calling for action. People began shouting that it was their Earth. People were going to attack the alien ship, but there were also those who thought it was crazy. The military tried to restrain the crowd, but there were too many people. They caused chaos in the streets of the city, demanding that the aliens be handed over to them. Soon the crowd broke through the fence into the enclosed area. Meanwhile, Artem put on the alien exoskeleton. The military didn't have the strength to hold back so many people. Julia told her father the truth about Haikon. That's how Lebedev found out that the ship would automatically explode if people entered it. The aliens tried to defend their ship. Lebedev was forced to obey orders and go into battle, so Julia took his gun, threatening to harm herself if the father didn't listen to her. After getting a car, Julia and Haikon headed straight for the ship. They were accompanied by the military. The enraged crowd surrounded the aliens. Seeing the military vehicle, Artem attacked and tried to break the glass, but Julia, turning the steering wheel sharply, threw him off. The car also flipped over. Julia lost consciousness, and Haikon engaged in a fight with Artem. The forces were unequal. Upon regaining consciousness, Julia rushed to help her beloved, knocking down Artem. Artem lost his spacesuit. Seeing Julia embracing Haikon, he shot at them. A second later, the military seized the guy. Lebedev rushed to his injured daughter, but not all was lost. The aliens took the couple to their ship to heal them. Lebedev was there too. The artificial intelligence told the colonel that the planet Earth was forbidden for open visits due to the too aggressive local population. Haikon's mission, who was the only one who believed that humanity was not doomed, proved him wrong. According to the artificial intelligence's forecast, humanity will die out in 600 years. Julia woke up. Haikon gave her his life force to save. Soon the ship finally regenerated and took to the air to leave Earth forever. Humanity's first contact with an alien intelligence failed. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel not to miss more exciting new products. Also, the authors will be pleased if you leave your opinion in the comments.